Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be doing a first impressions on the new Fenty Beauty skin tint. It is the Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint, and I've seen a lot of hype around this go around. A lot of people have been really excited for this launch, and a lot of you guys have been curious to know how I like this product. So this is going to be a first impressions and like a mini review, but for base products, I like to take a few weeks to really get to know the product and test it with different things. So I will be posting this video very soon, so it won't be like a full review because the Sephora sale is coming up, so I want to make sure I get my thoughts up on this as soon as possible. But on Instagram, I will update you guys as I continue to wear this, and I will also do a roundup or like speed reviews type of video probably later in April on like all of the new makeup, and I will include this and let you guys know after using it for a month how I feel about it. For reference, I do have normal to dry skin. I wear tinted moisturizers almost every single day. For reference, my favorite is the Cosmetics Cushion Foundation. I like something with like sheer to light coverage because I do have a bit of redness, but usually I will just apply some concealer on top. So I'm thinking this product will be right up my alley, but I haven't tried something as matte as this. I have used, I'm sorry if you can hear the lawn people outside, but I have used the Kosas not the wet lip oil, the Kosas tinted face oil, and that one's not my favorite because it's a little bit too finicky for me and it clings to my dry patches. So I'm interested to see if this will give me the same finish but be less finicky, because if so, this will be an amazing product, especially for summer. I live in Florida and it is so hot and humid, so I'm really curious to see how this thing performs. I got the shade 2. I have like fair to light skin. I usually buy very yellow foundations or olive foundations, so I'm really hoping this matches me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started because I know that this foundation is a little bit on like the soft matte side from what I've heard. It says light to medium coverage, blends and blurs to instant perfection, light as air. So yeah, I've heard it's a little bit on the matte side, so to give it its best shot, I'm going to use the Auric Glow Lust underneath. But in that review video, I will let you guys know like my favorite form of application and everything. I have shade 2 Selenite and the Auric Glow Lust, and I just took one pump with a stipple brush all around my face. And this product just adds a little bit of hydration to my skin, but it also adds the slightest glow. It doesn't add like an extreme glow to any foundations that I apply on top because it's not like a super sharp glow, but I do have a video on my channel using this, and I use this with a lot of foundations that I already own. Let me push my hair back. So it does look a little bit warm and dark for me, but it does blend in, and I use this as a tinted moisturizer as well. I also use it under my foundations, and even my light ones, it doesn't change the tone of it or anything like that. So I just wanted to use this to give the foundation its best shot in case it does cling. I don't want to use it to like a dry skin or anything. I want to give a nice hydrated base. So now for the Eaze Drop, I've seen a lot of people use their fingers. I haven't watched a ton of reviews. I don't like using my fingers for foundations. I just don't like getting things on my hands. I like using brushes as much as I can, so I'm going to use a brush. I actually use the Fenty Beauty 115 foundation brush for all of my foundations, so it's the same brand. I'm hoping this works, so I'm going to shake this up. Again, I have a shade 2. I'm going to just apply a little bit of that. It's like way thicker than I thought. Just gonna apply that to the skin. I'm gonna start with like a tiny bit. That shade actually looks really good for me. Like I took less than half of that. I'm just gonna wipe that around my face. Take the other half and do the same. I mean, so far it's going on fine. It's definitely like a light coverage. I think you could maybe get a little bit more coverage with this depending on how you apply it, but that is a really good shade for me. Actually, I was worried about it because the shade's kind of all over the place. Not all over the place, but I feel like it's kind of hard to pick your shade in a brand new product online, but I think this is sheer enough where you could kind of fit into several different categories. So I'm just looking down here at my mirror I'm building up the coverage a little bit on my cheeks, and yeah, that's definitely not super dewy. I didn't suck up that glow from the Glow Lust, but it's definitely not overly hydrating. And if I end up liking this foundation, this finish is the type of finish that I would really like over summer, because it's still really hydrated, but it's not overly dewy, which over summer it's so hot that I don't really love super dewy stuff. I want things to look as skin-like as possible. I do see a little streaking, but I kind of see that with most of my foundations. I just go in and tap in afterwards. You can still see my redness, like especially over here, but this is a really good amount of coverage. Like, I probably don't need that much concealer on my cheeks for every day, and like it's not clinging to any of my dry patches. Normally I have problems like right in between my eyebrows and then around my nose, but I'm not seeing anything weird around there. Like, it honestly just looks like skin. Like, I can see a little bit of foundation right here, but I always see that, and it's not anything bad like some of the foundations that I've tried. Yeah, even up close in the sun, I don't see any problem areas with this foundation. Like, I have the typical, like, I can kind of see the foundation on my nose and in between my eyebrows, but like on my cheeks, it doesn't look like I'm wearing foundation at all. Let me take you into the sun really quick and show you a little bit better. Okay, so this is a little bit of a better view. Sorry, my boyfriend's in the back, but I don't have the best quality camera or anything, but it's definitely not sucking up the glow. Like, you can still see that natural glow from the Glow Lust, and if you have more oily skin, I think using no Glow Lust underneath would be better. And that's a really good amount of coverage. Like, this is the perfect amount of coverage that I really like. And it's not clinging or anything like that. I really like how you can see that glow through it, but it's not overly doing anything. It's a really good shade match for me. This is like what I wanted the Kosas foundation to look like, and it's, you can feel a little bit of the foundation, and like when I tapped my fingers onto my face, I did get a little bit of product on my fingers, but I usually will, like, that problem usually goes away for me as I apply like my cheap products and lightly set my base. But I will just note that, but I don't think any foundation completely sets down, especially if it's a dewier foundation, because I just haven't heard of something like that. Yeah, I literally don't see an area on my face where the foundation is super noticeable. Like, it's not clinging to my dry patches. Granted, I don't have anything extreme going on my face. I don't have a breakout or anything, but I don't have any problem areas right now, and it looks really smooth. I don't have any streaks. There's no, like, I don't have a problem with this foundation so far. Obviously, it's my first impressions, but I'm loving the finish of it. This finish reminds me kind of how my M Cosmetics foundation looks. But of course, I have the Auric underneath. But so far, I'm really impressed. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup, and then I will be right back and tell you what I used and kind of let you know how things are sitting on top of the foundation. Okay, so the AC did turn on, but this is how it's looking without setting my base. So it's way dewier than I thought. I thought it was gonna be kind of like the Rare Beauty foundation where it like sucks up all of that moisture, but it's really still nice and glowy. And I feel like it's set down a little bit, but it still has that little bit of, not tackiness, but like it's not fully set down. And yeah, it will wipe off. So I just tried to wipe it on my face, and I did get all of that on. So that is one thing with this foundation and wearing masks, is that, I mean, it's not wipe resistant or anything like that, but personally, that's not a huge issue for me, as long as when I set it a little bit, it won't get everywhere. And I don't think this will get everywhere. That is just something to note, that it's not completely resistant. I think it says it's supposed to be like sweat and water resistant. I'm not sure about that claim. I mean, update you. What I probably will do is, in addition to my roundup review, I will be filming a try on of everything I get in the Sephora sale, and I'm not planning on getting another foundation, so I will go ahead and put this on in that video and also talk about like how I'm feeling about it. And that video will go up as soon as I get my items in the mail from the Sephora sale, and I am rouge, so that should go up before the Sephora sale ends, so you guys can know a little bit more of my thoughts. But so far, I mean, I like the foundation. Is it something you need if you have a foundation you love? No. But I think if you are scared of like it being too matte, for me personally, I don't feel like it is. Like, I have a lot of the dew, and part of it is probably because of what I used it with. I think if you have more oily skin and you don't use a hydrating primer with it, it'll look a little bit less glowy. But again, I would have to test it out like that. I don't think I would wear it like that because I like this look. So I again first used Auric Glow Lust, and then I used the Oma Beauty Stay Wilt Concealer. I didn't use any on my cheeks. I just put it on my under eyes. And then I used the Fenty Beauty Bronzer in Butter Biscuit. It applied perfectly fine, beautifully. It added that little bit of shine. And then I used Patrick Ta She's That Girl. I used the cream side. So I just applied some of that on my cheeks. I didn't use a highlighter or anything like that. I'm wearing the Huda Beauty Gold palette on my eyes, and I don't have a lip product on, just lip liner. So it does have a nice glow, and I think if you're a fan of normal tinted moisturizers, you'll really like this, because I think you could definitely sheer this out and make it like a very sheer skin tint, but it definitely has more coverage than something like the Glossier skin tint, and it's not quite as glossy, although where I applied Glow Lust, it definitely is, but like on my nose, it has a little bit of a glow, but it's not like the Ilia skin tint where it's glowy everywhere, because you have to keep in mind both of my cheek products are very glowy, but like down here it's not overly glowy. On my forehead it's like the amount that I like. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of powder on my under eyes, because I know that I could do a full like wearing this today wearing no powder, but to be honest, even if it works well like that, I'm never going to wear that like that in my real life because of masks, because of the heat, and just because of how I like my makeup to look. I like to apply a little bit of powder, so I'm applying a little bit on my under eyes, which is not where the foundation is, so not really a wear test. This is the NARS light reflecting powder. It does a really good job of not taking, like, not drying your skin out, just setting it a little bit. So I'm gonna put it in my smile lines, and then I'm going to take a big brush and just take this powder and apply it on my face, because this powder won't dry my skin out or anything like that. It just adds the lightest set without taking away too much of the dew. Yeah, so that definitely toned it down a little bit. And so it feels a little bit less tacky, but you can still see like my skin doesn't look flat. It's not dried out at all. It just looks more like how I like my skin to look. So it looks just a little bit more matte, but not anything crazy. I'm gonna apply a little bit of lip product because my lips feel really dry. This is the M Cosmetics Cushion in Magic Hour. Okay, I'm really impressed with this foundation, because with the powder, this is exactly how I like my skin to look. It isn't too dewy, but it's definitely still glowy and hydrated and everything like that. I'm gonna apply a little bit like around here, just because that's where my, like, at the end of the day I look really glowy right there, and then a little on my nose because of masks. I don't have the highest quality camera to zoom you guys in, but this is how the foundation looks. Really good color match for me, and I absolutely love the finish of the foundation. Like, it's not too glowy, but it's not emphasizing anything on my skin. It's truly like, it's so good. And I don't know if I like this more than my Cosmetics cushion. I would have to try this out more, but this gives me a similar effect where it's not super dewy. It has a little bit more coverage than a typical tinted moisturizer, and it sets down really nicely. Okay, so in about like 2 weeks, I think is when I try and haul, 2 or 3 weeks, I will update you a little bit more when I use this foundation. I'm going to be using it every time I wear makeup. But overall, I'm really impressed with how this foundation looks so far. It doesn't look weird on my nose, which a lot of foundations do. And on my cheeks, it just looks really nice and glowy, while still not being like overly dewy or greasy or anything like that. So I'm really impressed. Again, I will update you guys, especially on Instagram too. In probably a week, I'll probably do an update, or whenever my thoughts change, if like something bad starts to happen with this foundation, or if I try it out with a different primer and it has a different finish or anything like that, any changes, I will update you on Instagram like as soon as possible, and then I will update you on YouTube. It'll just take a little bit longer. So if you have any questions about this foundation, feel free to leave them down below, but so far I'm very impressed. I don't know how much this was. Where did I put the tag? I actually don't know how much it is. I got it on sale for $24. So for 24 bucks, I think this is worth it for me. If it was 40 bucks, I don't know. I would almost say just go with the Cosmetics foundation, but this one is a lot more accessible. So if you like the look of a little bit more coverage than a typical tinted moisturizer and not so like overly dewy, which I know is really popular right now, and that's an unpopular opinion for me to have. If you don't like something overly dewy but you still like really hydrated skin, not really finicky products, and a little bit of glow, I would recommend this as of right now. I think most people with dry skin do have some sort of skin prep of like moisturizer, skincare, or a primer. So I mean, I think this works really well with that. Obviously, if you go on with dry skin, it's gonna not be as glowy, because personally, like, I wouldn't ever do that with a foundation unless it's like an overly dewy foundation. But I don't know. I don't think these products are the same at all. I think the Fenty one is a little bit less glowy, but personally on the skin, I feel like they look very similar so far, and I really enjoy this one, and I could see this one being like one of my favorites because it applies very easily and it gives me easy coverage. So I don't think it's blurring or anything like that. I mean, I don't know, I'd have to test it out more. I think it's probably more blurring if you use it on matte skin or something like that, but personally I don't think it's blurring. I just think it's a nice like perfecting skin tint, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. So we'll keep you updated, and of course leave any questions, but I hope this was helpful and you liked this video. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.